Last month, I made over $70K in my coaching business. The marketing strategy I'm about to share with you is largely responsible for it. Keep watching, and I'll show you exactly how you can use this strategy too to grow your business and get more coaching clients. Hey, it's Jason Moss here. I'm a multi-six-figure business coach, and I've helped thousands of coaches around the world launch and grow their businesses. Before we dive into this video today, if you're looking for clarity on a roadmap you can use in order to get more clients in your coaching business, I recommend downloading our free client attraction guide. You can click the link above or below to do that right now. We've got so much more helpful, valuable information you can apply in that guide to start getting more coaching clients right away. So you definitely want to check that one out too. So there are lots of different marketing strategies you can use to launch or grow your coaching business. But one marketing strategy I really like, and something I've seen to be super successful in my own business as well as the clients that I work with, is running masterclasses. So what is a masterclass? Well, you can think of a masterclass like a live event that you put on your calendar. It's literally like a date and time on your calendar that you promote for a specific period of time to your audience, where people are showing up, they're all together like in a Zoom call or something like that, and you're running like a training for your audience where you're educating, you're adding value, you're sharing, you're giving. And then at the end of that masterclass, there's a pitch. And basically that pitch is an upsell into your program where you're talking about, how you help people on a deeper level and exactly what they need to do to take that next step to either apply to work with you, to book a call, or to sign up and actually enroll. This is what a masterclass is. When it comes to marketing, there are really three keys to success. You need to have, number one, a way of growing your audience. In other words, a way of getting in front of new people who don't know who you are and bringing those people into your world. You also need a way of nurturing those people, warming them up through content, helping them see you as an expert who they can hire to help them solve their problems. And then the third step is invitations, right? So you need to make people aware of what you do and how you can help them and what they need to do in order to take that next step to work with you. So these three key pieces, grow, nurture, and invite, are crucial to any successful marketing plan when it comes to growing your coaching business. And the reason why masterclasses are so helpful is because they combine step 2 and 3, nurture and invite. When you show up and you're doing a training, you're adding value, which is nurturing your audience. You're helping them see you as a likable expert, as someone who they can really trust to solve a problem for them. And then you're also laying out that path in that same masterclass. You're saying, here's how to work with me on a deeper level. And so really, 2 out of 3 of the things that you need to do in terms of being successful with marketing are checked off in the masterclass strategy. And just running one of these on a regular basis, let's say every month, can be a great way of just taking all these people who might be following you or might be kind of interested in what you do and creating an awesome experience where they can kind of warm up to you a little bit more and then be really incentivized to take that next step to work with you. So what do you need to have in place in order to run masterclasses successfully? Well, probably the biggest thing is you got to have an audience. You got to have some group of people who are following you online, who are interested in what you do, who are reading your content. If you don't have an audience yet, this would be the first piece that I would have in place first, and then that I would be working on. Now, you don't need to have a really big audience for this to work successfully. You can have a relatively small audience, maybe just a couple hundred people who are following you on Instagram or on Facebook. You don't need to have thousands or tens of thousands of people, but having some level of audience is really important for this strategy to work. So if you don't have that in place, this is probably not going to be useful for you. I'd recommend, really building that out and starting to create some content to bring those people into your world before you start looking at integrating masterclasses. But if you do have a little bit of an audience going, you've got, some followers on Instagram or social media or maybe an email list, this can be an incredible tool to basically take those people and create an awesome experience that's going to warm them up and ultimately convert many of them into clients. One big question people often ask when it comes to masterclasses is, should I charge for this? Should I do a free masterclass or should I ask people to pay for it, basically? What I recommend in most cases is, unless you've got a more established business going, that you run free masterclasses. Because the more people that you have in your world watching those masterclasses, the more those people are warming up to you and the more that you're creating an experience that's ultimately going to create opportunities for leads and new clients. Later on, if you want to, run paid masterclasses, that can be great. But the issue is a lot fewer people are going to attend and you just get less visibility on you and less of a chance to be able to show people how awesome you are at what you do. In most cases, I recommend going for free. I'm still running free masterclasses. At some point, we might transition to paid masterclasses. We've done other things like workshops that are paid and stuff like that. But for the most part, I recommend free masterclasses if you're in the earlier stages of your business, and then you can transition to running paid masterclasses down the line. So the first step to success when it comes to running a masterclass is you've got to have a really solid promotional strategy in place. So you've got to have a way of showing up and talking about about what you do and what you're doing with this masterclass that gets people excited to want to sign up. Couple of tips to success here. The first is when you're promoting your masterclass, focus on the transformation instead of the material that you're going to be covering. Remember, most people don't want to learn more. Like, we're inundated with information. We got a million pieces of information at our fingertips, right? So when it comes to getting somebody to actually do something, rather than focusing on the information that they're going to get and all the material that you're going to cover, focus on what's the transformation that they're going to go through as a result of attending this masterclass. In other words, maybe you're helping people overcome anxiety through your coaching program. And so the transformation in this masterclass is you're going to show up to this masterclass, maybe not having tools to be able to manage your anxiety, and you're going to be feeling kind of anxious and out of control. And then at the end of this masterclass, you're going to feel much more calm and peaceful right away. And you're going to leave armed with some really powerful resources that you can apply and use anytime that you experience anxiety. Whatever is going to come up for you, you actually have some tools that you can pull out of your back pocket to reduce that anxiety right away. And that's exactly what we're going to cover and what you're going to learn inside the masterclass. So notice I didn't really focus that much in that pitch on what we're actually doing in the masterclass. It's more so what's the transformation for this person. And when you can show up and promote based on the transformation instead of focusing on the material or what you're going to cover, that's really when you can start to make things much more attractive to people, because people are going to see that and go, wow, this is something that I want, and this is an event that I want to be a part of because of that. The other thing is, don't be afraid to invite people personally, especially if you have a smaller audience. Intimacy and conversation is one of the best ways to generate traction in your coaching business. So don't be afraid of just sending somebody a text or DMing somebody and reaching out and saying, hey, I thought of you because I think this would be really good for you based on XYZ. I think you'd find this really valuable. Do you want a link? You just being able to reach out to people personally like that, that's always going to work better than content. People are afraid to do this, but there's nothing more powerful and more effective than having conversations in order to move somebody forward. Especially if you're in the early days when you don't have a large audience, you can do this a lot more. I would definitely recommend leaning on this pretty heavily as a way of inviting people to this event and making sure that people are aware of what's actually going on. So don't be afraid to invite people personally. It can be a really great strategy and a really great way of getting more people in the door. The other thing is you want to give people a reason to be there live. So a lot of the times, we got a lot going on. If we sign up for something, we kind of forget what we signed up for. And then when it comes to actually attending the event, it's like, I've got a million things to do today. Like, do I really need to be there live? There's probably going to be a replay. Like, why do I need to even show up to this? You got to give people a reason to actually be there live. And sometimes this can be as simple as, hey, we're going to do Q&A. And so I want you to bring your questions so you can get answers. You can walk away with clarity on your specific situation. And I'm going to help you with that live on our call today. That's a powerful way of communicating to somebody why it's important to them to show up live. It could be, doing giveaways. It could be, hey, for 3 people who show up live, I'm going to give away, an hour coaching session or whatever it is. Just incentivize somebody to show up live. And the more that you can do that, the more people will actually be there in the room, at least virtually in the room with you on the actual event. And then the last tip I have for promotion is you want to hype it up after people register too. So if you have like an email list or something that you're funneling people to after they sign up, don't forget that, if somebody signs up and there's like a week and a half before the masterclass, you want to be sending out some emails to those people, or just continuing to talk to the people who have already registered and hyping up like, hey, this is going to be an incredible event. Like, we're going to cover so much. You're going to find this so valuable, like really being able to hammer home why it's important for them to stay engaged. Again, a lot of the time, like, people sign up for something and then they just like forget about it a couple days later. So we want to be marketing and selling to the people who have also registered for this event, in addition to the people who haven't yet signed up. And both of those things are really important to make sure that you have the best possible chance of success when it comes to actually running this event live. The last question people often ask when it comes to promo is, how long should I be promoting for? The truth is, there's no like right or wrong here. I find like a week and a half for me is a good amount of time when it comes to promoting masterclasses. Anything more than that, and I start to get tired of talking about it. Anything less than that, and I feel like I don't have enough of an opportunity to really share and really connect people to why this is so important to 10. So that's usually a good sweet spot. Like week and a half, I find is a good place to go. You could go shorter, you could go longer, but personally for me, I found that to work really well in my business. Okay, so if you followed this promotional strategy, you're showing up, you're talking about this masterclass, hopefully you've got a bunch of people signed up to attend the masterclass. The next question you might have is, well, how do I actually run a masterclass? And what's important to actually include inside the training? And when I actually do the masterclass, what are some things to keep in mind? In terms of the length of the masterclass, usually around an hour is a good amount of time. You could go over, I wouldn't really go under. I think that's a good amount of time. Anything longer than that, people start to drop off. We have pretty short attention spans these days. So I would say that's usually the sweet spot. In terms of the content and the material that you cover, there's two strategies that I found to be really effective when it comes to running masterclasses. And I recommend using one of these two. If it's your first masterclass, you can experiment with other approaches, but this will work really well when it comes to ultimately using this masterclass as a way of generating leads and creating new opportunities for clients. The first approach is what I call the signature method breakdown. This is a masterclass where you basically walk people through your unique method for helping your clients create a specific transformation in their lives. As an example, I'm a business coach. I work with coaches, help coaches launch and grow their businesses. I have a 4-step process that I call the launch method. These are 4 steps that I use when I work with clients personally to help them launch or grow their businesses and get clients consistently. And so I've run a masterclass before where I basically walk through what those 4 steps are and talk about, okay, here are the 4 steps, and here are some of the biggest mistakes or pitfalls to avoid in each of these 4 steps. The important thing is you're not teaching somebody how to do these 4 steps. What you're doing is you're just sharing the process and a high-level overview of what those steps actually are, and maybe some mistakes or pitfalls to avoid in each area. And then at the end of the masterclass, you can say, hey, now you know my process. Some of you are probably watching this and thinking, oh, this is great. I've got what I need. I think I can take this and integrate this on my own. And some people might be looking for help with the how. You might be looking for somebody who can actually walk with you through this journey and apply this process in your business or in your life or in your relationship. And if that's you, I'd love to share a little bit more about how I might be able to help you with that. So it's a really obvious layup or a really simple layup into a pitch about your program and how you can help them. I really like this as a structure for a masterclass because it does a really good job of presenting and sharing value and really creating a really valuable experience for the people, while also creating enough of that kind of gap and that opportunity where someone's not going to get to the end of a masterclass and feel, okay, I've got everything I need, great. We don't want that, because if somebody gets to the end of your masterclass, they're like, wow, this was so valuable. There's no reason for me to book a call with you. Then obviously, as a lead generation tool, the masterclass hasn't done its job. So we constantly want to be balancing creating value, creating an awesome experience for somebody, and also creating enough of a gap where somebody gets to the end of that masterclass and feels like, okay, there's more. Like I see how taking that next step, working with you, is something that I really want and need. And this signature method breakdown does a really good job of making that happen. The second approach you can take when it comes to running masterclasses is what I call the starting line approach. So if you imagine where your ideal clients need to be in order to be a perfect fit to work with you, all the things they need to believe about themselves, about you, about the world, about the situation that they're in. Basically, if you can kind of map out like, what is my ideal client and what is their state of mind right now? Where are they at? We call this the starting line. So this is, if someone's on the starting line, they're in this place. And then if we were to step back, let's say 3 steps. And if you were to ask yourself, well, where is my ideal client? Maybe a couple steps before that. Maybe they have some limiting beliefs that are holding them back from being totally ready. Maybe there's some things that they believe about themselves or about the world that are holding them back from being open to taking this next step. If I were to create a masterclass that basically walks somebody through all of the shifts and changes that they need to make in order to go from being 3 steps behind the starting line to right to the starting line, this is the starting line approach. This is another format you can use for masterclasses. Also works incredibly well. Oftentimes this is about breaking down limiting beliefs and showing people new perspectives, either through sharing your own story or examples of other clients that you've worked with, and leading them by the hand, helping them make these shifts one by one by one. So as an example, thinking about my market, I work with coaches. One of the reasons why coaches may not be a good fit to work with me is because they may have a lot of imposter syndrome, and they might think I'm not qualified enough to be able to coach others. Maybe I don't have a certification, or I feel like I need more training in order to be qualified to be able to help others. So if I were creating a masterclass, one of the things that I would do if I was taking this approach is I would talk about how if you can actually transform someone's life, if you have what it takes to be able to do that, you don't need to be certified. You actually don't necessarily need formal training in many cases. It's not that it's a bad idea, but actually in many cases, a lot of the coaches that I work with who haven't been certified have been the most successful. And I might talk about me personally not being certified. And so I'd use that as an example. And I might talk about, some of the clients that I've worked with who have also not been certified and have been successful. Through sharing examples and stories, I'm helping break down that limiting belief and helping somebody go one step closer to being in that place where they're ready to hire me and work with me. So this is another approach that you can use when it comes to running masterclasses. Also works incredibly well. Now, regardless of what approach you take, you probably want to do like 45 minutes of training. And then at the end of the masterclass, there's a pitch, which is basically when you tell people, here's what I do, how I can help you, and here's what the next step is. You don't want to skimp on this. You really want to be bold and assertive when it comes to sharing what you do and how you can help people. So don't let this just be like a little daggler at the end, like, hey, by the way, I'm a coach. Like, we really want to take up some space here. So what I would recommend is the approach that I take when it comes to masterclasses transitioning into a pitch is I'll basically give somebody like an A/B option. I'll say, awesome, so you watch this training, hopefully you've gotten some value from it. You might be the kind of person who's watching this and saying, great, I've got what I need. And if that's you, I celebrate that. You can stick around, you can hop off, totally up to you. You might be the kind of person who's watching this and saying, I want more. I want somebody who can help me through this, who can help me create this shift and this transformation on a deeper level. I'm ready to get that support and help. And I want to understand what that looks like and how you might be able to help me create this shift in my life too. And if that's you, I'd love to share a little bit more about how we might be able to help you with that. So what we're doing is we're basically drawing out a path and saying, A or B. You can be the DIY person or you can be the person who wants help. It's a really simple way of transitioning into a pitch. And then when it comes to sharing the pitch, the most important thing is we focus on, okay, here is what your program is, here's who it's for, here's who it's not for, and here's the A to B transformation that's really possible through going through this work. So remember, we're not focusing on the weeds of the process of all the things that you're gonna give them inside coaching with you. What you're really focused on when you're pitching is, here's where you're gonna be after working with me. Here's specifically how your life is gonna change. Here's what you're gonna have or be able to do after going through this experience that you're not gonna have before. So for example, as a business coach, I would talk about the freedom of running your own business, being able to quit your 9 to 5 and put in your 2 weeks notice and be making enough to be able to wake up every single day and transform the lives of others and get paid to coach full time. That's what I would talk about as the transformation that's possible through somebody working with me. We're not talking about worksheets and coaching sessions and all the in the weeds details. I mean, you can talk about that stuff a little bit, but focus primarily on the transformation, because remember, that's what people actually want. And then usually at the end, there's some kind of like time limited bonus or incentive for somebody to either apply to work with you, to book a call. For example, I like, doing like, you could do like a bonus coaching session for anyone who submits an application in the next 3 days, who decides to work with you after you guys hop on a call, or it could be $500 off your program, creating an incentive where basically somebody has a limited window of time to be able to apply to work with you. And if they do apply within that window, there's some kind of bonus or something that they get that goes away after that period of time. That's a great way of just basically giving somebody a little bit of a nudge to say, hey, if you're on the fence, you've been thinking about this, like now's the time to actually do this. So after you've run your masterclass, your job is not done yet. This is something super important to remember. There are still some steps after the masterclass actually runs that you want to make sure to have in place too. The first thing is you want to send out the replay. For all the people who might have signed up to watch the masterclass, but maybe they weren't there live, send out the replay. And I recommend doing like a time limited replay window too. So you can say, hey, the replay expires in 48 hours, heads up. You've got 2 days to check this out. And that way, you have this kind of window of time where people are actually going to watch the replay, and you want to make that window within that larger window that you have where somebody can take advantage to apply to work with you. So that way you've got all the people who are going to be watching the replay, who are still going to have time to actually submit an application or book a call with you and take advantage of that discount or whatever it is. Versus if you don't do something like that, oftentimes people will wait like 2 weeks to actually watch the replay. And then by the time they get to the replay, that, limited window is gone and they can't take advantage of that. So that's why I recommend like a time limited window for actually running the replay. You also want to send out several emails about your program and working together after the masterclass itself. Don't skimp on this. A lot of people go soft on this. You want to be emailing the people who have registered to sign up, talking about your program and what you do, and really clearly laying out those next steps and saying like, hey, if you're this person, you want to go from A to B, this is for you. Click this link, go submit an application right now and do it before the deadline and you'll get, X, Y, Z. And we really want to, send out a couple of those emails, like really reminding people and staying on top of people throughout that limited window of time they have to apply. Super important that you don't go soft on this. A lot of people are afraid about like, oh, I don't want to send out too many emails. To the right person, there's no amount of emails that's going to be enough. The people who are really interested and engaged with you are not the kind of people who are going to be complaining about you sending too many emails. It's the people who are never going to work with you that will say, oh, you're sending too many emails. So we want to cater what you do to the people who are engaged, the people that are going to end up becoming your ideal clients. And just remember, those people are excited to hear from you. They want to work with you. They're thinking about working with you. They're on the fence. So just remember that in terms of your engagement strategy here. And the last thing that you can do, going back to what we were talking about earlier with intimacy, is don't be afraid to reach out to people personally, especially if you have a smaller group of people who showed up to the masterclass. Just start shooting people texts or DMs and saying, what'd you think of the masterclass? I'd love to hear more about what you found. And just opening up those conversations can be a great way of creating other opportunities for people who might be a little bit on the fence, but maybe they're a little bit too afraid of submitting an application or reaching out to work with you, or there's some kind of barrier or objection that they have that you can help them work through. Just having those conversations and being proactive about that can be a great way of creating additional opportunities for you. So hopefully this video should give you some real powerful strategies and some tools that you can apply to be able to run a successful masterclass and to use this as a way of generating leads and signing new clients in your coaching business. Remember, marketing in general, this strategy in general is a piece of success as a coach. We also want to make sure you've got the right offer in place. You know what your niche is. You've got a really solid enrollment strategy. So when people do reach out to you after the masterclass, you've got something solid in place you can take them through to turn them into clients. And if you're looking for more clarity on what those other steps look like, everything you need to have in place in your business in order to sign clients consistently as a coach, I recommend you download my free client attraction guide. You can click the link above or below to do that now. Inside that guide, I cover my proven 4-step launch method in detail. It walks through, here are the 4 things you need to have in place in your coaching business in order to create success and momentum and start signing clients consistently. It's really valuable stuff. I definitely think it's worth checking out. So you can click that link above or below to go get that guide right now. Now, before you go, leave a comment down below and let me know, have you run a masterclass before? I'd love to hear, is this something you're thinking about doing in the future for the first time? Have you run masterclasses before? I'd love to hear more about your experience with masterclasses. You can leave a comment down below and let me know. We've got so many awesome videos coming on this channel. So stay posted, subscribe as well so you can get notified when those new videos come out. I believe in you 1000%. I think you have something so important to share, to give, to contribute as a coach. So keep showing up, keep putting in the work, and I can't wait for our next video. I'll see you soon.